Welcome to one of the 10 best cities in the United States of America. Today is Tuesday, November 13th, 2012, a week after the presidential election. It is now a little bit past 5:30. We are calling the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency regular board meeting into order. To begin the meeting this evening, I'm going to ask everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, can you do roll call, please?
Commissioner Sterian?
Here.
Commissioner Galvin? Chairman Pierre?
Here.
Commissioner Marcellus?
Here.
Commissioner Blend?
Here.
Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum to conduct the business of the people. Mr. Director, any amendment, changes to the agenda?
Mr. Chair, members, no.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of September 11th and September 24th, 2012? Okay, I second that. Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none. Item pass. Agenda item 1. Mr. Secretary.
Request from Norristown Cleaner and Propane Gas to obtain additional funds of $30,000 for the resurfacing of the parking lot and curb and for Hurricane Roland shutters, 1005 Northwest 119th Street, North Miami, Florida 33168.
Okay. I guess this is a project that's been around for a while. The business been in North Miami for, I don't know, as far as I can remember. To begin with, you know, it's right there on the borderline of North Miami and the county. My first issue is, it seemed to me that we don't spend enough money on Northwest 119th. And the entire corridor, all the way from Northwest 17th Avenue all the way out to probably North Miami Avenue, the curves, swells improvement, I don't see any money spent in that area, whether by the city or the CRA. The only work that I have seen there is when there's a shooting at Coco's nightclub that I see many police officers that are out there. So I think, you know, for this, you know, business to spend so much money in that place, and I think we should be giving them more money for investing in that area. Secondly, I remember when Hurricane Wilma came around, when the entire city was looking for gas to propane to light up their generator. It looks like the only place that we actually found such help was that location. In fact, there were people around South Florida. It looks like that's the only place that was open and stayed open for the people of the city of North Miami. So to me, it seemed like, you know, this is time, and it's not only this business, but it's time to start spending on the west side of the city where these areas need major improvement. As I said before, I drive through 119th, and the only time that I see we're spending time there is when there's a shooting at Coco's nightclub. So I don't know if there's anything else to be added by. I see the owners here. Yes. You may proceed to the microphone. I'm not sure. You know, I think they may want to hear from you. But I'm very satisfied with what you have done with that place, the money that you spent there with your business. As I said, you know, I don't see much going on in that area, and for you to come in and spend your money in that area, that's truly appreciated.
Thank you. Yes, you take it. And then
I'm Andrew Gold. I'm a close friend of Abdul's and have been advising him throughout the project. The first picture we have here tonight, we're requesting additional money because the project as it's gone on is with a lot of the changes in the zoning requirements since the project's inception have caused us to go over budget. What you see here on the first drawing is the original proposal with a 45-foot tower to give a, in a much updated building, to make it very contemporary. Since then, we were not allowed to have because of zoning, we were not allowed to have the 45-foot tower, so we increased the height of the building that was beneath it quite a bit. I got it. You got it? This is how the building looks currently in its nearly completed stage. We're about ready to put up the rolling shutters. We originally had proposed 4 rolling hurricane shutters. We now need 10 to close the space because of the re-engineering of the building. This is looking west from 10th Avenue on the side. This is looking north from 119th Street, the front of our building. We have a contemporary metal roof that's about ready to be put in. This is the additional, we surrounded the building both on the east and the west side with 24 palm trees and LED lighting. This is the view from ours looking towards the post office. This is a lot of the greenery that's already been added on underneath the palm trees, which at nighttime, there's some more palms, and that's the final picture. You had the nighttime view?
Nighttime view is on the LED. Okay, 1 second. Here's my iPad.
Additionally, we were required for the drainage. We had to go down 21 feet to meet the current code. Had to put in 3 drain fields, and now because of all the drainage and the whole property having to be excavated to 21 feet. We have now to put the parking lot.
I didn't get a chance to get this thing done, so just see if we can.
Excuse me, can you identify yourself for the record, please?
My name is Abdulrazak Kanani. The property owner at 1005 Northwest 119 Street, North Miami, 33168. Sorry about that. It's just the night vision.
So you have to be on the microphone to talk. So
Did you give it to staff?
Yes, we did, and we could not take copy out of it because it's a 2 different program. One is Apple, and this is Microsoft, so we cannot transfer the things.
Okay.
We tried it. And I don't know if we'll be able to see at night things. Or you want me to come close? Andy, can you take it close?
The camera needs to see it, so we won't be able to show it at this moment. I mean, you could tell us exactly what it is,
It's okay. Andy, go ahead.
and we could supplement the
You know,
record.
on the palm trees, the 24 palm trees, we put some LED lighting from all positions that rotate in a very tranquil way. It lights up both the entrances, both from going east on 119th Street before 10th Avenue and coming from 12th Avenue going east. So in all directions at night, we are a 24/7 business. That area tends to be quite dark. So this, with the palm trees and the lighting accenting on the palm trees, it really gives a very nice entrance and lets them know that we are open and the whole area is open on 24/7.
Now we'll go through this one.
The additional funds that we're asking for is the metal roof is costing us an additional $7,000. Because of the parking lot, we have $15,000 because we completely had to redo after the drainage fields were completely torn up, and we added 21 feet down. And the shutters now, we have 10 hurricane shutters instead of 4. Those are $18,000. To finish what we're doing, it's going to cost us $40,000. We're requesting from this, the CRA $30,000. The original budget had the city with $56,000. It's going to cost us a total out of our pocket, a total budget of $210,000 to upgrade the property. We've already spent $162,000. So there's additionally $40,000 left needed to finish the project. We're at the the last 10% right now. So that'll give the city's contribution at $86,000 and our contribution at $124,000.
Okay. Anything else you need to add?
That's
Okay.
all simplified.
Okay, no problem.
Any questions?
Okay, Commissioner Glenn?
You say here, due to changes to the original plans required by zoning, the project cost has increased by $80,000. Was that correct? Our zoning changes of
Many, many changes from the beginning, continual changes.
Victor Morales, 70 Northwest 105th Street, Miami Shores. I'm the architect that worked with Abdul. I want to correct that a little bit. No, it's not all derived from zoning. What happened was, I'm sure you have the images there. Could you put that image on?
Yes.
So I can refer
The
to
first
that.
image.
If you see the original, there you go. The original design called for this tower with a lower building.
Right.
And between me and the wall, it should have been accepted because it does fit zoning. But we ran into a zoning wall that said, no, we don't want you to build it that way. Fine. We lowered it, but we increased the size towards the back, from the tower all the way to the back. Okay? Those are the main changes as far as design goes. The surprises here were, in order to meet parking lot grading and drainage as newly required, took a lot more work than that was expected. Okay, that was a big thing. Additionally, other things were taken on in order to, zoning also wanted Abdul to remove an existing exterior tank. Okay, and we went back and forth on that. He's agreed to do that, but in order to get rid of this 2,000-gallon tank on the exterior, we had to put it below ground, so that now the tank will be below ground, up in a different area of the site. So that required a lot of
so
changes.
you never anticipated any of that.
Not really, no, not to that extent, no.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Marsalis?
Yeah. You said you're going to, let me see, you only need money for the parking lot and the shoulders. And you said you already make a down payment for $7,568 for the shoulders and $5,000 for the parking lot. And you asked for $30,000.
Yes, the funding has been, we have to give them a deposit, but it's still the project left to finish it. We come up with our own money to give them a deposit so we can secure the contract. The way we can secure the contract so we can deposit, so price should not increase tomorrow. So that's the way we put our own money inside. That's why we already went to $162,000 invested into the project so far.
Okay, your request now is just to return you your down payment plus the different amount that you have to pay for that project.
Even though deposit is going to come back, but it still is going to cost us $124,000 our contribution to finish this project, and the city, if the city allow me another $30,000, the city contribution will be $86,000. And this project we started as a 50-50 project.
Okay, and
I hope I answered your question.
just one second. And Mr. CRA Director, when we start that project, it was like 50-50 project.
I don't have all of the details of that original contract, but it was 50-50. What he's asking for now is additional funds. That won't be 50-50. He's just asking for an additional 30. But the original, and he is right regarding the zoning. It wasn't so much of the zoning that the building, it's got something to do with his drainage, the grading, and all of that that's causing additional funds. As the gentleman mentioned, going up on the wall in the back, that's something that they decided to do. But again, we're not paying 50-50 on that. It's just on the new amount, which we're not paying 50-50 on.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
that's it for now.
Thank you.
I think you know, it's not like you're getting your deposit back. I mean, it's $40,000 that it's going to take to finish the work,
Yes, sir.
and you already put $12,000
Yes,
down.
sir.
You're requesting an additional 30. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
not like you're going to get all $12,000 back. I mean, a total of 40, and you already put $12,000 down, and you're adding for the additional 30.
Correct, sir.
Commissioner Garvin.
No questions. The only thought I have is, and I drive past it all the time because I work up the road. The lighting that you're going to do at night, is it going to be soft?
Very soft.
It
You
has
know,
been.
it-
It has been installed.
Oh, it's
Very
already been
soft,
installed? I didn't-
very
oh, so
settled,
soft, I didn't even notice.
very
Okay.
soft, very settled, and there's, yeah, it's really look very nice.
Cool. All right. Good luck. And like I echo what the mayor's saying.
Thank
I'm
you,
glad to
Cal.
see the investment.
Thank
in
you,
the
sir.
community.
Appreciate it.
Commissioner Stero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Abdul has been a great neighbor to me.
Appreciate it.
This is the entrance actually to my house,
Appreciate
somewhere around there. It has been tremendous. I really like the work that you do.
Appreciate it.
As the mayor mentioned, this building has been there since I moved in the city, which is what, more than 20 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's a work over, it needed in the community for so long, specifically in my district, in 119th Street. Although we do a little bit on 7th Avenue, but we have not been concentrated on 119th Street. I think this is the first project that we have done in 119th Street. I am in full support of
Appreciate
this project, which I think that you're doing a good job. But my question to the CRA director, or do we have the money?
Madam Chair, one of the things, no, we don't have the money budgeted. What we've been doing is going out on some of those previous funds that were allocated for different businesses. We've been bringing some of that money back. We did bring in enough money to cover this project. There's a total of 3 that we have on the table.
What is it?
A total of 3 projects,
Okay.
2 of which are here before you tonight. Because we've been going out and looking at those contracts, bringing funding back, we do have the money from that source. So that is, the answer to your question is yes, but these items are not budgeted. We're going to bring them back to you to have funds reallocated. And it's because we, as you notice in our account, we have like $5 million, but that's allocated funds, allocated projects. Majority of those are city projects, some of them which we are doing at a lower cost that provides money to come back into the program. And some of these are businesses that money was allocated and either they have not done the work yet or they're not capable of doing the work, and we're evaluating it and bringing that money back into it. So as such, as right now, we have brought in enough money that if this council so desires to move forward, we do have the funding to do that.
Funding to fund all 3 of the projects, or?
Yes, there's about 3, maybe 4, 3 including this one, and a 4th one that the person has not even come forward. They just requested about a week ago.
Okay.
If we had money, I told them no, but they should prepare to come forward in the event that we find some.
What is your recommendation for this project?
I would say, first of all, I always want to respect the advisory board by saying what the advisory board does, their recommendation. Their recommendation was not to proceed because money was already given in this project. However, I do understand the fact that because there are change orders, we do, in this situation, because of the drainage, the grading, that we have to make at times concessions. So therefore, based upon that, I would say yes. And we do have the funding to cover these projects.
Okay. I move the motion. I make a motion to approve.
Mayor?
If we, yes.
Before we have-
Motion was made. I second that motion, Mr. CRA Attorney.
Well, in connection with the motion that was made in the second, I need to point out, we have certain guidelines with respect to the grants that we give and what this particular grantee is asking, and I'm not telling you to either say yes or no, we would need to have certain waivers to program guidelines. And I need to point those out because if you're going to make a motion to approve the request, you're going to need to make a motion to, waive those particular items. So if you don't mind, I'd like to point those out.
I remove my motion for now until that we hear the
What are those
questions
items?
or the.
First of all, the total amount of a grant that's permitted underneath the guidelines is $80,000. So they're asking for $86,000 at this point. And what we're really asking for is an amendment to the existing grant agreement, which is what we would have to do. But in this particular case, the $30,000 that they're asking for is going to increase the grant to $86,000. So if that's what you want to approve, you're going to have to approve a waiver to the $80,000 limit for the extra $6,000. That's number one. Number two, the guidelines require that the grant be provided on a 50-50 basis. So for every dollar that we give them, they have to spend $1. So if you're not going to require a 50-50 match on the extra money, then you're going to have to waive that requirement as well. Thirdly, our guidelines and our existing grant agreement require that 3 bids be provided for all the work that's done. I don't see in the package 3 bids for the work that's being asked for reimbursement. I also don't see an amended scope of work that includes these items and includes a new budget to show us exactly what's being spent. So with respect to any approval for an amendment to this agreement, I would request that a new budget be provided by the grantee. If through the chair, if I could ask whether they've done 3 bids for this or not?
Mr. CRA Attorney, now my blood is boiling. Okay,
Why?
to begin with, why is this before us when you guys didn't follow the guidelines? Okay, why am I knowing about this now that there are waivers to be granted at this moment? Why at the last minute that I have to do that here? I mean, all of us here got a job to do. So if there are those requirements, why am I finding about these things now? Am I supposed to go through for every package that you guys submitted in front of me? Am I supposed to go through, find the guidelines, and review the guidelines, forget about my law practice, forget about my children, forget about my wife, and constantly do the job of the staff? Is that what you're telling me that I need to do at this moment?
No, I'm just telling you what you need to do to approve it. I was told that this item was not going to be recommended for approval. I hear the board saying they want to approve it. And I'm telling you what you need to do to properly approve it. I'm happy to formulate the motion for you.
No, but the guidelines, but the guidelines has to be followed. I understand that the CRA board, advisory board, made a recommendation not to approve it, okay? But if the guidelines are not being followed, I need to know that, and I think we all need to know that. That should come up to us with a memo that, hey, procedures has not been followed. If you're going to approve this tonight, here are all the procedures that they failed to follow, and we need to do that. I mean, guys, come on. I mean, seriously, after 3.5 years, I got 6 more months to go, and I'm doing this now. I mean, tell me, am I wrong? Am I wrong for you guys not to tell me that the procedures have not been followed? Am I supposed to know that, for each of these projects that 3 proposals must be submitted? Am I supposed to know that?
Mr. Chair, if I can say, one of the things that we don't want to put the applicant through that process on if it's been advised not to approve it. If it's going to be approved, then that's what has to be done. But to put them through that process and then this board does not approve it, then we've asked someone to go out and do additional work that's not going to be approved.
But I need to
That's
know
ridiculous.
that.
Well, that's what we're bringing. I think, Mr. Chair, that's what we're bringing before you now.
I'm glad I got
is-
6. I'm glad I got 6
May
more
I?
months. Thank you,
May I?
God.
May I?
Wow.
How about a motion to
I can't
appro-
believe no wonder why the county sometimes come down on us. I mean, this is plain and simple. Are you expect me to go through and look at the guidelines to find out exactly what they are before each one of these proposals are submitted to us? I thought this is,
That's their job.
Mr. Chair, I think that's what we're doing now is informing you of what the guidelines are.
But
To give you the guidelines and to have the applicant go through this process and it's not going to be approved,
Okay.
But if that's what the guidelines are, I'm trying not to jump in on what the mayor's, because I'm with him 1,000% here. Somebody needs to pay attention to this agenda before it comes to us. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Somebody needs to own this agenda, because this isn't the first time recently that something has sloppily been handed to us at a CRA meeting. We want to be supportive of a good businessman. But if they're not following the guidelines, we just open a can of worms, and we're just going to not follow any guidelines for anybody. If the guidelines are the guidelines, then he would have to go through those things before he could come to us for consideration. And my last thing I'll say on this right now, and I can't support it now tonight in light of this, we should have heard from staff before the applicant even made a presentation, because then we would know your concerns at the beginning rather than at the end, because we all just nodded our head, and for the most part I think nodded our heads and said, this is great, wow, good business, and then we hear there's all these issues. So tell us that before the applicant makes a 15-minute presentation and we're ready to vote on it. That's just not the way to do it.
And where is it in this package that
Nowhere.
it went to the board and the board voted on it?
It's not in there.
What was the reason why they voted on it? How come it's not on this package? Is it on a special package that we weren't supposed to get?
You referring to the recommendation of the board?
Yeah.
This is like a deception.
It's not a deception. I mean, it's just
sloppy.
Basically, Mr. Abdul, would you go back and do exactly what the procedures are?
Sure.
Follow the procedure, go to the CRA board, advisory board, then from there come back to us, okay?
CRA
And
board, I was actually overseas on my Hajj trip. It was planned 1 year ago. And I send them a letter, then I won't be in the country.
I understand that,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes, I can do
mean,
that.
right now, moving forward, okay?
Appreciate it.
Would you take that? You wanna, at your request, you wanna pull this?
You want
item?
to reduce it to
advise
80,000,
you
so
to
we
do
should
it.
not.
No, sir. I want you to follow the procedures.
Okay.
Okay, because right now it seems to me you're not going to have the support to get this approved. As I said, nothing is being done in this area, but at the same time, I got procedures that I need to follow.
Understand.
Okay, so you're willing to pull this item at this moment, then from there go back and follow the procedures?
Yes. And when the next CRA meeting is?
They'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Good work, Mayor.
May we ask before we hear the second one if
Yeah.
it's the same situation?
Same situation? Okay.
Same
Yes.
but different.
Well,
Okay.
which is it? Is it the same or is it different?
All right. Can we agree that have the procedures followed? Okay. But what's going on? I thought we usually get recommendation from boards. Is there something changed?
We
don't
have
get
it
that
at
anymore.
Council meeting, not CRA board.
I have seen
Yeah,
it in CRA board
absolutely.
meetings. Okay.
I'm telling you.
But in any event, can we have the procedures followed on this item? Then from there, once all the procedures are followed, and whichever one that are not met, we get a memo, basically stating exactly what it is. So can we do the same thing with this agenda item tab 2?
Mr. Chairman, I mean, I'm happy to. I mean, I see you looking at me and asking that, but quite honestly, and with all due respect, that's a staff function. I mean, I'm here to provide the legal advice when these items come up. We vetted these at the advisory committee. These issues were raised. I will tell you the issue with the one coming up is the building already received a grant. Our guidelines say you don't get 2 grants, and they're coming back for another bite at the apple. And my recommendation would be do not give them a grant because our guidelines prohibit it.
May I ask, Ms. Mayor?
Sure.
Why is it before us?
Are you saying that the building already received the grant?
Yes, it
or-
did. The building received a grant, and our guidelines are very clear. It says no building that has received a grant within the last 5 years is generally eligible.
Okay.
These are guidelines. You can waive anything you want. We've waived these before. I do agree, though, that they've been, discussed in advance with a staff report that advises what those particular waivers may be.
Let me ask for a clarification. If a business owner, the building, receive a grant for facade, can a tenant actually receive another grant for
No.
That's what the guidelines
That's
say.
what the guidelines say. The guidelines say generally prohibited.
But actually, if we are interested in the project, we can actually waive it up here.
Their guidelines, you can certainly waive them if you so
Okay.
desire. They're not, it's not a
Mine-
statute, it's not a code provision.
No, I just want,
Yeah.
I like to, follow whatever my,
Right.
my
For example, we gave Polio Tropical a $250,000 grant. We gave 50 State Security a
275 or
275 grant. Those were all because we waived the $80,000 maximum.
Okay, beautiful.
Local cafe.
My suggestion to staff, even with the advisory board, I would suggest that you meet with the applicant to make sure that they're ready to proceed. Don't send it to either to us or to the advisory board halfway prepared, and then when they get there, that's where either the applicant will be embarrassed or us just sitting there, or even the advisory board just sitting there and having application before them that's not even complete. So I'm assuming, did we, my question is to you or the city manager, did we actually tell the Mr. Abdul about the guideline that they were not followed? Were they aware of it?
Yes.
I was not at the advisory board.
No, even
they
them,
were all
when you guys
advised.
have meeting with them, were they aware that there was guideline that was not being followed?
The director, Mr. Chair, every application that comes before you, we sit down with the applicant, we tell them the areas where they don't comply with our guidelines, and if they choose to move forward, we take them to the advisory board. The advisory board gives a recommendation, and we bring it to you. I understand now you want us to vet these things and only
Yes.
bring things that we think should be approved. We don't have any problem through the executive director
I
doing
think
that.
you can actually bring
However-
it to us, but you just tell us in advance what the issues are, just as we do at council meeting.
We can do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so the same thing with tab 2. Go back out there and whatever those guidelines are, basically we should be getting that with a memo advising us what that is. Then it's up to this board. If they want to waive it, they could go ahead and waive it. And you could tell me, Mr. CRA attorney, if it's my job or this board's job to know what those guidelines are, to go back and review those guidelines before the decisions are made, then I think that's what we're going to have to do.
Well, no, Mr. Chairman, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not. It's our job to tell you all what the item is, and we should have a staff memo as part of the agenda with a recommendation.
Okay.
And if I'm tasked with doing that, I'm happy to do it. But I had not done that in the past for the 7 years that I've been here as your CRA attorney. I have not done that.
That should have came through my office, Mr. Chair.
Well, I would like to have it done that way.
Any old business? Any new business?
The lady,
Excuse me?
I think someone from the audience.
The applicant.
Okay.
she's one of the second applicant.
So meet with her after and figure out when you.
Yeah, we'll meet with you.
We'll finish
after,
with it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
We will meet.
Speak on the microphone. Identify yourself, please.
can you please let me to explain something?
Can you identify yourself for the record,
Yes,
please?
my name is Zoya Firuzi. I'm the president of Nilu Incorporate in North Miami Beach. I was in the meeting last week, and they denied my application, but I received another call from CRA, and they told me to come to the meeting. But after the meeting, I did some research in North Miami, and I find out some of the business they. I think this gentleman is the lawyer. I don't know, but he told the same thing right now. He's saying to you guys that there is a guideline that if you get one time found, you cannot get the second time. But after the meeting, I did some research and I find out some of the business in North Miami, actually they got second fund. So I just want to know why they refuse to give me a fund if the guidelines say no, but why they give it already. So
all I'm telling you is that I think it's great that you did the research. In fact, bring those research in and provide them to us. If that is exactly what happened, we will, follow the previous decisions that we have made for you. So it will be at the next board meeting. They'll send it to us and basically make sure you bring your research. make sure you come with the information and provide us with the information, then we would follow those guidelines, okay?
Yeah, actually, in the last meeting, they was refusing and they was, you know, joking around with my proposal.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
We finish for this item. When it comes back at the next meeting, we'll address all those issues. If you think that the board, the advisory board disrespected you in any way, just send a letter to the director or to this board, then we would address your concerns, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. Any new business? Okay. Okay. Just before we adjourn, did we look at the business incubator on West Dixie, that building? Have we looked at that yet? Is that something that we should be? I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, we are looking at it, but I need to know what's happening.
Mayor, that it's in the very infant stages. I'm not really prepared tonight to even bring it before you.
Okay.
It's in the very infant stages. There is a building that's for sale next to the Captain Jim's. We could possibly do an incubator. It's just identifying the funding source.
Okay.
The CRA coordinator did bring it up to me, but it's just identifying a funding source and then prioritizing some of the other items that we would like to do, such as the facade program, as well as an incubator program. I think we were leaning more toward a facade program as being a priority along the 7th Avenue corridor. But before we bring either one of those proposals, we wanted to find a funding source, and maybe perhaps we may be able to do both.
Okay. All right, that's one. What's happening with the beauty salon on Northwest 7th Avenue that we have talked about in the last 3 months? What's the problem with this project? And to me, I don't think there's any such establishment in South Florida. Well, I think there is one on Biscayne Boulevard. I'm not sure it's up to that capacity. I mean, we need to see it. I mean, and it comes here, so whether this board going to make a decision, yeah or nay, but that needs to come forward. I mean, we cannot just sit around for 3-4 months and nothing is happening on that.
I can report on that to you, Mr. Chairman. That project came before the advisory committee at the last meeting as well. There were some serious concerns with that application. We sent the applicant back to make those changes and resubmit. I mean, first of all, that was another situation where the building had already received a grant from the CRA in the past. The corporation that filed the application does not exist. And we were told that that they had changed the name and it did exist, but the Secretary of State records did not reflect that. We asked the applicant to go back, file the appropriate paperwork, and submit under the appropriate name. And then a number of the expenses or the scope of work items that they were requesting reimbursement for were not eligible under our guidelines. So that was a case where we sent the applicant back to redo the application, provide us with the correct information regarding the company, because it had signed a lease and it doesn't even exist. And then we would review that and bring it back to you at a later date.
Okay. Well, just make sure that, if the company does not exist, something could have done for the advisory board before actually set before them to tell the applicant that, listen, we cannot sign a list with, it's like signing an agreement to buy a house, but the baby has not been born yet. Okay, so somebody has to get pregnant, the baby has to be born before a list can be signed. So I know the corporation is what they call a fictitious being, but it's really a being, but it's not a real person, but they're actually, although it's independent of its owners, but we need to make sure that is established before we could submit that application, not only to this board, but also to this CRA advisory board.
Mr. Chair, on that item there, that was the third one that I had made mention of that I think is a very, very good project. I did spend some time with the proposed owner I think it was just a mistake on their part. They have another business that they operated under. It was thinking that they can do a name change, so that's why it didn't exist. And I think that with a little preparation, they would have been fine. And I will be working with them because that will be one of a scene opportunity here in North Miami. I think it's a very good project. I did speak with that person today. I will be working with them personally, and there will be some guideline changes to bring forth on that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Glenn made a motion to adjourn. I second it. Anyone wishes to
just before I say that, I just want to say a few words on business incubator myself, and also although the director might say it's is at the infant stage, and you say you're more focusing on the facade of the business, and I think it's probably great, and if we can do both. But myself, when I heard about the business incubator, I went and conducted a research myself, and the information that I found was so great and fantastic. How the business incubator was good for the city of New York, and really that's something myself I really encourage you and to move on that direction, and please do not slow down on it and just take it in consideration and move forward with this thing. If we can do both, that would be a better thing for us, for the city. But if whatever it's, but the business incubator, I really encourage you to move forward with this thing. Okay,
motion was made, was seconded. Anyone who wishes to echo the no, hearing none. Thank you so much for being part of this meeting, and we see you guys at 7 p.m. Thank you.